16,000 revs, starting master off, generator on, radio on. I want to make sure now that the channel is clear for shipping. We'll go down the slip, and as soon as we get into the water we shall stop so that we don't get in anybody's way, and we can take a clear look and everybody can see us and we can see them.
Terry, is there really any great danger of collision with other ships, or does your manoeuvrability almost rule it out?
You behave in the same way as a normal displacement vessel, and you obey the rules of the road as far as they're practicable to hovercraft. No, there isn't. You're a very manoeuvrable beast. Going clear away across the mud now. I'm starting to shut down. Now I shall open the puff ports and put her right down on the water. And we've nicely stopped now. We can take a good clear look as to where we are. Ferries are going across there. I'll just sit here for a moment and pick her up out of the water.
And we're now functioning precisely as an ordinary displacement boat, just sitting on the water.
Yeah. And we'll pick her up back on the cushion again.
You've had experience, I know, both of flying and of boats as well. Which is she really more like, an aircraft or a boat?
She's a hovercraft.
Yeah, I know that.
It's neither. There's a degree of both. The controls, of course, are much more related to aircraft than to a normal vessel. But you're, in effect, I suppose, flying an aircraft in a marine environment. If I want to turn left, I'll slow up a bit so that you can see it a little more slowly. I would apply left rudder, exactly the same as an aircraft, and put this lever across, which lifts the skirt on that side of the craft, and in effect, as in an aircraft, banks the craft.
That's allowing the air to leak from under the...
Allowing the air to leak from that side of the craft. Therefore, the craft is in effect on the cushion. You've lifted the skirt this side, so the craft cants slightly to port. You take a list to port, and then you go into the turn like that. And around we go. And back round the other way.
Presumably one of the big advantages of this sort of craft, particularly in waters like this, is that the depth of the water is absolutely irrelevant.
Well, here we are, just on Calshot Spit now, and it's dry. There's nobody about on it, so we'll go over the top. Probably disturbed the birds this morning. They all look as if they're sleeping very peacefully. And over, and back on the water, and back over again, and ad infinitum. Really no problem.
And thinking in terms of places like all the Essex marshes and so on, this means that there's no reason at all why you shouldn't have a hovercraft base several miles inland, pick up your passengers and your cars and fly them across the North Sea.
Well, there is no reason in theory why you shouldn't. I can, you know, not quite sure what sort of driving license you'll need to take a hovercraft across the Chelmsford Main Road or something. One of the great advantages, too, of hovercraft is, of course, you can stop incredibly quickly.
Can you show us that?
Yes, of course I can. Let's wind a bit of speed on. We'll get her up to 55 knots, something like that, and then we'll stop her fast. We're doing just about 59 knots, I should think, over the water. And now we'll stop her. Stand by, will you?
It's a very spectacular stop, I must say.
Now, we've come to a standstill in just about 2 craft lengths.
And that was from about 60 knots.
Yeah.
There's no other vehicle that one could think of.
I started the manoeuvre just as I passed the end of the pier, and we're still level with it. We haven't passed it yet.
I would think it's true to say that there's no other form of transportation that you can think of that could pull down from 60 knots to standstill in twice its own length.
Unless you hit something, no.
Sure. Which indeed is exactly what we did. We hit the water, didn't we?
Yes.